Hi everyone, so I wanted to talk about something that just happened tonight, kind of impulsively, as my name suggests. But this is going to be a video that's part of my Deeper Beauty series, which is really about like the things that are at the deeper level behind my experience with beauty, like the emotional level, the mental level. Yeah, so I haven't done one of these in a long time, but a series of things has happened very recently, kind of both on the spiritual level that kind of culminated in a pretty big decision, which you've probably already seen the title, but let me explain kind of what happened. So long story short, I closed my Sephora account, which is huge for me because Sephora is the main retailer that I've been purchasing from for the last year. Maybe I'll cycle back and tell you from the beginning kind of what happened. So I moved into the area a little over a year ago, and there's a Sephora near me. There actually wasn't a Sephora near me for the previous like decade. So I was really excited because Sephora was always a retailer that I'd followed, and yeah, and just like since it was so close, it was so easy to like check out the stuff and like look around and stuff like that. And I actually held off from like opening a new Sephora account. I closed my old one because I was kind of running into a similar issue actually, which is funny, but I'll talk about that in a second. But I opened a Sephora account, started like, you know, just purchasing here and there and being like, you know, what can I add when it's convenient, or like, you know, just kind of trying things here and there. But given how my brain works, I started just really obsessing over their loyalty program, all right, their VIB program. And I just got like obsessed over how to get points, how to get more points, because they start to gamify things. Like there's challenges and there's multiplier events, and like, you know, like that's how they draw some of their customer base. Like they know that there's a draw there, right? And people, and you can also like redeem points for a lot of great things like actual items, experiences. You can even, if you get enough, you can even you know, get them for some dollar back amounts. And so I was getting like really excited about it and really got into it, I think, over the last few months. But that also always requires me to purchase stuff. That's the point. Like Sephora is a retailer. Sephora is a company. They want people's money more than anything else. Like they seem like they're giving you something. They tell you there's a free birthday gift. But honestly, they really just want your money. And I keep, you know, if you see my other Deeper Beauty videos, you've seen, you know, I've said things like, don't give into the system, don't you know, give into their games, don't, you know, go after the points. But that's exactly what I did. Like I fell back into it. And it got to the point where I was like refreshing the page every day, like what was new, is there new games, is there new challenges, like how can I get more points, what can I redeem my points for? Like it just got into this really bad cycle where I was just thinking about it a lot, right? And I knew, I think probably about a month or so ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, I realized it was starting to get at a spiritual level, right? So I started praying about it more. I was also just starting to like get back into my spiritual walk more, and just wanting to kind of strengthen my relationship with the Lord a bit more. It's been challenging over the past year as like, you know, as my second kid has been born, and, you know, just getting back into things. And so I think getting back into my spiritual walk and my spiritual life has been part of the process. And so I've been trying to get back into it more. And I feel like whenever I do that, the Lord starts to like poke at things that that aren't necessarily like great in my life, and always challenges me to kind of like, what can I cut back on and what can I be doing better in my life, so that I'm living in a way that's better, right? And giving my money to a beauty retailer isn't all that better. Like thankfully I'm not like giving a ton, but it was definitely to the point where I was like visiting Sephora a lot. I was checking the page a lot. I was thinking about it a lot. I was putting things in and out of my cart a lot. Yeah, it just started to take up a lot of my time, definitely taking out more and more of my money. And you know, like there would always be things I was looking forward to, like their favorite sets. And now it's the holiday season, so like their advent calendar and excuse me, and like their other events and things like that, and just getting like really into it. So it was about a week ago where the conviction came to my mind. So conviction, if you're not A Christian is kind of a Christianese term about like something that the Spirit of the Lord puts on your heart, is just kind of like poking at you, being like, so about that thing, it's not really what God wants in your life, and you gotta, like work at it and like figure out, not I necessarily figure out, but like it's a process where it's like God is kind of inviting me to be like, let's sit down, let's talk about it, pray over it, and just kind of be aware of what the Spirit of the Lord is trying to tell me to do. So the conviction was like, why am I attending the Church of Sephora so much? Like, I mean, for one, the term Church of Sephora is really weird, but for me, it holds really deep meaning because, of course, as a Christian, I should really be attending like the Church of the Lord, right? Maybe not the physical church, but at least like my spiritual walk with the Lord. I really should be entering into that a lot more, because honestly, my time with Sephora was up here and the time I spent with the God was like way down here. Like, to me, going onto the Sephora webpage and looking at the items, going to the store and looking at the items, I was definitely stepping into Sephora store a lot more than I was stepping into a physical church, and I was stepping into, their website a lot more than I was reading my Bible. I can say that much. Not a good balance. Really should be the other way around. And so like, right, there's an issue, especially if I really regard like my relationship with God that important in my life. So yeah, so God put that in my heart, like, why am I attending Church of Sephora so much? And so yeah, I started to challenge that in my life. Like, what exactly am I looking for? Why am I so not satisfied? Like, why do I find Sephora so exciting? And I think like don't have all the answers, but I think the main thing was that it was like my escape. Like, I'm constantly stressed out. I think being a mom, there's other things in my life going on as well. I'm not in a terrible place by any means, but like, it's just an easy place to turn to, like on my phone, right? The glowing screen, there's exciting things happening. And, Sephora's inviting me in to like do these challenges and like get things back, right? It's like these physical things that seem so tangible, when sometimes I think the spiritual things seem so difficult, right? It's like, you just put time in to reading the Bible and praying and stuff, but it doesn't always seem like tangible, right? Because that's like what my walk with the Lord is about. Like, that's what he tells us in the Bible. It's not about the physical things. It's not about the clothes I wear and what I look like and the food I eat. It's about having that inner joy and that inner peace and that inner satisfaction and like all the things that I truly desire, but I was masking it with like getting things out of Sephora. And like, you can there's a lot of other examples and stuff like that. Like for me, it just happened to be Sephora, but I'm sure a lot of people choose other outlets that aren't wholly necessary, or actually, like, if you go on one extreme, like, it's not great for you, right? I think if you go to those outlets in healthy ways, like, they're fine, because Sephora in itself is not a bad thing. I just want to put that out there. Having an account with Sephora is not a bad thing. Getting points at Sephora is not a bad thing. But to me, the line is where I am constantly going on the website and like constantly thinking about it. That's kind of a red flag for me. So me being a very black and white person, and I've done this before and I alluded to that at the beginning of the video, is that when I start getting to that mindset and I realize like, oh, something is actually taking up a lot of my time, a lot more time than it should, I just need to cut it out of my life. And that's something that Jesus says in the Bible too, right? It's like, if your eye is causing you to sin, like, take it out. If your hand is causing you to sin, take it out. Very extreme example, but I think that this is almost like a direct application to that, right? Like, since Sephora has become such a big part of my life and is not actually like being helpful at the end of the day, like, take it out. It's not that hard. Although it kind of was, right? Because I became so emotionally attached to it. It became my outlet. It gave me the quote joy that I was looking for from time to time. And the point system specifically, I became really, really attached to. It was this objective number that I wanted to see grow and grow and grow and grow. I could spend it down, keep on growing, growing, growing. So something that happened today is that I recently made a purchase. They were doing this offer thing where if you purchase $75 worth of stuff, then they'll give you 500 points. I somehow got a glitch. Hopefully Sephora will never hear this video. I somehow got a glitch and they actually gave me double. So I got actually 1,000 points for my $75 order. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool. But something in that order I actually didn't need. And I found like another alternative, whatever. So I brought it into Sephora to return. And actually funny thing was, it was the second item, like exact item that I purchased. One was for myself and this one was actually I purchased as a gift. And I realized I actually didn't need that one as a gift anymore. So when I went to return it, the sales associate was like, so you bought this twice recently, like which one are you returning? And I said, oh, this from this date. She said, are you sure? So I said, yeah. You know, to be honest, even though the second time I purchased it, it was actually on sale. So if I said I returned the first one, I wouldn't have gotten more back. But anyways, I try to be an honest person. This is kind of a tangent. I try to be an honest person. So I told her it's the later date. Please take it off that order. When I checked my Sephora account later tonight, because I'm always checking my Sephora account, 1,000 points was gone. I was like, whoa, where did it go? Like, is this a glitch? I've been hearing the Sephora sites have been glitchy lately. And I realized that because that return made the total amount that purchased under 75, they just took back their points, which like Sephora has every right to do. They probably disclosed it already. But to me, that was like a punch in the gut. I was like, wow, I didn't work hard for these points, right? I just spent money for the points, but I think so much about it. I'm like, they just took that away from me. My account balance was nearly zero. Like my point balance was nearly zero. And I was like, how easy is it to close my account? Because I've actually done it before. Over a decade ago, I fell into a similar trap. My commute to work went by a Sephora. I didn't live near one, but my commute to work went by a Sephora. And so I did something similar. I was starting to game the system again. And at some point I just decided it was too much and I closed my account. So it's been funny actually this whole past year because I opened it under the same account or same email. I actually have one account under my phone number that is something at noemail.com and my other one is at gmail.com. And so they're always like trying to clarify with me, it's always a reminder to me that like I've done this before. I've closed an account before. And so what's funny now is, anyways, let me get back to the story. So I was wondering, I was like, my account balance is nearly zero. I mean, I just got the VIB status like 2 weeks ago. But what benefit is that really to me other than just a status, right? Like I've said this out loud before too. Like, am I really, really wanting to continue to game the system like this? Because obviously I've gotten to the point where this is challenging. And I've just gotten the conviction from what I believe is the Spirit of the Lord that I got to do something about this. Maybe this is it. So I was like, how easy is it to close my account? Because some companies make it super hard. You have to call in, you have to go in person, you have to sign some document, right? So I was like, let me just look under my account preferences. And right there, it said close account. And I was like, is this it? And it just felt like it was time. Like so many things was telling me that it's not worth it in my life, right? So I clicked through all the boxes. I wish I had a screenshot, honestly, just for my own sake, but I'm impulsive, right? Like I've realized that about myself, especially over my beauty things. And this was kind of no different, but I think in a different way. So just like that, I am no longer a Sephora account holder. I no longer hold a VIB status. I no longer have any points. I am again an at noemail.com number in the system, which means that they can't do anything with that account. And it honestly brought a lot of relief in that moment. I was like, wow, I don't have this hanging over my head anymore. And like a ton of other realizations like rushed over me. It was like, wow, this is actually the right thing to do because the Sephora is so close. It's one of those things where it's like, not exactly like hold your friends close, but your enemies closer, but like kind of, I don't know. That was like the phrase that popped into my head. Although it doesn't seem to correlate, but it's one of those things where it's like Sephora is so close. I need to not let it be such a distraction in some ways. And so, yeah, I think like, it's interesting. Like, I'm literally sitting in front of a Sephora box right now. I have Sephora products in my collection, and I'm still actually about to receive an order from Sephora. So I'm still going to have a lot of reminders, I think, about my experience with Sephora over the last year, and just, I don't know. I think I'm going to do my best just to be grateful for the chance to try all these products and have the retail outlet so close to me. But at the same time, I think that it'll remind me of, like, I can't fall back into that again. It was not the products. It honestly, like products are products, right? Like Sephora will always choose what brands show up and don't show up, as any other retailer does. But it's a reminder of, like, don't, I really can't be taking part in loyalty programs, at least ones that I have such easy access to and like offer so many quote perks, right? I think I really, really need to be careful with that. And this was a really good reminder of that. Like, I've canceled accounts before knowing this realization and I fell into the trap again. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I still have a lot to reflect on this, and kind of, it's literally only been hours since this happened, right? So I think I'm hoping I'll get a lot of my time back, knowing that I can't really be, yeah, just like reap any benefit from that anymore. And I hope that I'll be able to spend more time with the Lord, in the Bible, just praying. I have lots of friends that are going through a lot as well right now. My Bible study is about to start in a few weeks. Like, there's just a lot coming up. So this seems like a good time for me just to like refocus. And yeah, if you guys are believers, like, I welcome any prayers. And, if you've dealt with something similar to this, like, I would love to hear your comments below. But yeah, I think I'm feeling a lot better about this. So, yeah, it's interesting. I actually filmed a video like this very recently and never posted it because I was just still kind of in between things and didn't know how to explain things. But now that I feel like I have closure, I feel a lot better about talking about it. And, I really hope that I'll figure out, like, what exactly I need at the deepest level right now, and not to use this type of stuff as an outlet. I think I have to be careful about some other things in my life right now that's really easy for me to be, try to fixate on, like my beauty bank. I've noticed myself sometimes doing that, but trying to finesse it in a way that actually is helpful to me. And just like other things in my life that I think, it's just really easy for me to fixate on other things versus kind of in the deeper spiritual things and understanding the balance between those things. So all that to say, if you have any questions or anything else you might be interested in talking about that's related to this, like, feel free to suggest below or comment below. I'd love to continue this conversation. So thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.